What's good? Hey, it's going to be a great day. What's up? Well, it already is. Wednesday? Oh, look at this. Look at this. My dad, what's good, big dog? Bear, what's up? Deb, what's up? Great to see you. Bala, Gangal, what's good? How are you guys? Hope you're having the best Wednesday of your entire motherfucking lives. I'm going to jump right into this because I'm short on time. For those who are new here, what I do is I record live podcast episodes. So this is going to be a live podcast episode specifically talking about that title you guys can see down below. You need to have a sense of urgency, and I'm going to break down exactly what that looks like and how it can be valuable to you. So right now, if you're stuck in any way, plateaued with your fitness journey, your career, relationships, I'm going to talk about a few things that have really helped me, and I think you guys can get a ton of value from it. So without further ado, let's break it down in 3, 2, and 1. Boom. What is going on, mother truckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Shift Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. This is your boy, Coach Sal. Let's get it. In today's episode, we're talking about how you need to have a sense of urgency. Like I said before this recording, I'm going to break down a few things that you guys are going to really want to listen to, maybe take some notes. You might need to listen to this episode a couple times. If you are stuck in your fitness journey in any way, your career or relationships, regardless of what that looks like for you, I think you guys will be able to get a lot from this episode. I'm going to speak from my personal experience in hopes to inspire and motivate. And essentially, I don't want to say teach, but help guide you through maybe some obstacles that you are experiencing right now. So that is my intention and that is my goal here today with this episode. So if you guys are excited, drop a fuck yes in the comments if you're here live. And I really want to kick this off by explaining what having a sense of urgency means and why that is important to you. Now, I want to be clear, this might ruffle some feathers here today. So if you are a sensitive person, maybe this episode is not for you. But the reason that I have this on my heart to share with you guys is because sometimes it takes some tough love in order to really get past the plateau and break free of some potential limiting beliefs and reach the next level. Because I would venture to say that if you are listening to this information right now, there's something that you want to improve upon. Otherwise, you would not have clicked on the episode. So I want to make that very clear. If you but right now, if you are somebody who is on the sensitive side and you're not interested in learning or growing or losing body fat, building muscle, making more money, improving your relationships, then maybe this episode is not for you. So the title of it is having a sense of urgency. So what does that mean? Well, it means approaching every single day with the desire to do more. Right. And I think a lot of us in today's society are very complacent. And, how, for argument's sake, how couldn't we be? Right? You could literally order food by the snap of your fingers on your smartphone. Of course, we're conditioned for that, right? You could do anything from your phone. So of course, we're going to get into that mindset of complacency. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, is how complacency is the enemy. And I'm going to share a couple things, but I think a lot of us honestly are just too comfortable. And I've been guilty of it in the past, but this has been something that has really weighed on my mind. And then, like I said, I think you guys could take a ton of value from this. So having a sense of urgency is approaching every single day with the intent to improve, to learn, and to grow. And the reason as to why that's important, because if you're serious about making change, if you're serious about losing body fat, building muscle, having more money, and improving your relationships, and this is how you need to approach things. Because if you're not doing that, you will take your foot off the gas, you will get complacent, you will get comfortable, and you'll continue to take the same actions, which are the same decisions, which will get you the same results. And that's not what we want. And that's not what we're trying to do here. And again, if you're here, I appreciate you. And that's the focus for what we're working on. Now, I want to be very direct. If you don't have what you want, there is a reason for that. And this is something that I like to think about daily, is like, you got to earn it. Like, I think The Rock talks about that. He has that on his t-shirts. It's like, the rent's due every fucking day. Rent is due. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. And that's, for me, having a sense of urgency is waking up early in the morning and hitting my workout first thing, because I want to take that energy and that tonality into all the things that I'm doing throughout the day. I don't want to wait till the nighttime when I'm burnt out and I'm tired and the last thing I want to do is move my body. How could I possibly think that's going to give me a good workout?
Having a sense of urgency is being frustrated with where you're at currently and doing something about that. Instead of pointing the finger and blaming these circumstances as to why you don't have what you want, you take responsibility for that internally, and then you seek different actions, which are going to get you different results. Right or wrong? Does anyone want to disagree with me on that in the comments? Go ahead. I'm all ears. Now, I want to tell you guys a quick story on this because I could sit here and tell you about having a sense of urgency, but you might feel disconnected to that because you might be wondering, how have I gotten to that place? Now, for me, it might be a little bit of an emotional conversation. So I'm just going to take a breath and bear with me here. I'm going to do my best to get this out. But there was a specific point in my life where this kind of clicked, and I could reference back to 2019 when I fell into a depression and I thought about taking my own life, specifically because I was working construction, right? And I didn't really see a way out. Right. Like every single day was the same. Get up at the same time, have the same commute in the same car, go to the same job, drill the same hole, maybe a different location, but it was just very boring and monotonous. Right. And throughout that time, I didn't know there was anything better for me, right? I didn't believe that I was capable of doing anything else. So what did I do? I settled for that. I essentially just rolled over, right? Like I've talked about this a lot on this podcast, is that when I first graduated college, I was very lost. I was very confused and overwhelmed and stressed out because I didn't know what to do with myself, and I think a lot of us experience that. We spend our whole lives in school, on the field, and then we come out and all of a sudden we're forced to try and figure out what we need to do, but we don't even know what that looks like, right? So I wanted to share a bit about what I have been through in hopes to let you know and recognize that you are not alone, because I've been there, and I believe that if I could walk through that path, then so can you. And that's the whole thing. Now, when I say I fell into a depression and I thought about taking my life, the reason that I felt that way is because I didn't see the end result. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought, okay, I'm fucked. Like if I have to live the same day over and over again, this is not a life to live. And then I really felt that way. So then that's why I contemplated that. And back to the title, you need to have a sense of urgency. I could take this a step further. And during the time I was working construction, I was also training clients in person at the gym. And then I was also studying for my online personal training certification at the same time while in a business coaching program. So you might be listening to it and like, how the fuck did you have time all for that? I made the time. And that's where the sense of urgency comes into play. I was not trying to dilly dally and fuck off and play games. I created a very clear vision for myself and I executed on that relentlessly. Why? Because I was sick and tired of my own shit. I was frustrated with the results that I had in my life. So I knew that I needed to do something about that. I knew that if I did not make a change, I was going to suffer the pain of regret forever. And I was not willing to tolerate that. And that's where this comes from. When I say you need to have a sense of urgency, you should, because you should be so frustrated with the things that you have right now. You should want more. You should desire more. You should be hungry for it. You should be chomping at the bit to do more, to be more, to have more. And if you're not, again, then maybe my page isn't for you. Then maybe this podcast isn't for you. And that's okay. That's fine. We're not for everybody here. Right. But what I'm talking about is it wasn't until I started to prioritize my fitness again where things began to change. I didn't see a light out because I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have goals. I didn't have things I was working towards. As human beings, we thrive off having things to work towards. Right or wrong? We do. And that's why I've said to you guys in previous episodes, boredom should not exist. You should not be bored. If that crosses your mind, something is wrong. Something is wrong. We need to be working towards something. There's a lot of science behind that because as humans, we value structure, we value routine, but we also value progressing. We also value making sure that we are moving the needle forward. So if you're feeling stressed out, anxious, overwhelmed, depressed in any way, I would make the argument that could be why. Is that right there? Because I know from my personal experience, when I was feeling that way, that's really where it came from. Was because I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have vision. I didn't have goals. I was showing up every single day, doing this job, doing the same shit over and over again with no light at the end of the tunnel. When you think about that, logically, it makes a lot of sense. So the title of this, you should have a sense of urgency. If you're frustrated, then you need to make a change. You need to. Otherwise, what's the alternative? You could sit in the back seat, you could point the finger, you could blame the circumstances and look at everybody else as reasons and stories and excuses as to why you don't have what you want. But where does that get you? Where does that leave you? With the same shit you've always gotten. Right or wrong? And that's the issue. If you want the same results, cool. But that's not how this works. It's not what winning is. And that's why for clients, a lot of times, I will essentially harass them sometimes with getting on the calls, with doing check-ins. Like, I built out automations to remind the clients to check in, because check-ins are extremely important to make sure that we communicate and we progress towards things every single week. Because if we're not doing that, we will stall out. And if our clients are not getting results, they're not happy. And if they're not happy, neither am I. And that's not a lot of fun. So that's why I do that shit, for that reason. You know, you need to be on the calls. You need to be checking in. We need to talk, because there always has to be something that you are working on. And that is the mindset. And that's why I hashtag in the bottom of every single post, never satisfied, we don't miss. Because after investing almost $100,000 over the last few years and being in all these business coaching programs, right, and networking my ass off and meeting some incredibly highly successful people, this is what I've seen. This is the framework for people that are creating true change. We put these people on social media on pedestals. We look at them and we compare, and we're wondering why we don't have what they want. But this is just one small inkling of a percentage of what they do every single day, which is why they're different. And when you zoom out and you think about all these decisions that are compounding day after day, that is why they have what they have. Maybe that doesn't apply to everybody, but again, we're trying to look internally and recognize here that we need to have the responsibility to do that, because who is going to do it for you? Nobody. Right? So lessons, 3 things that I want to share with you guys that you're really, you should be writing down. And it's funny because this episode, people click out. Like on the live stream, people are clicking out because they don't want to hear this, because this is the truth. And this is what people don't want to hear. Right. And that's what I'm trying to say here is you need this even more. I could come on here and say, oh, here's this to lose weight. Cool. You lose the weight. Then what happens? You're still going to be pissed off. It's never enough. We're never satisfied because we're looking at it from the wrong lens, right? So 3 things that we're going to need to write down, okay? First point, number 1, you need to get up earlier, right? If you're not waking up at like 5:30, 6 a.m., that is a problem. If you're sleeping in till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, just rolling out of bed, grabbing your phone and just lollygagging, that is a problem. Because what happens is you don't even recognize how much you're being lapped by other people. You don't even grasp it. Again, when I'm talking and I'm referencing these people that are highly successful, I'm talking about people who are millionaires and billionaires, who have multiple companies, who are literally crushing it in so many different aspects. And all of them get up early. I've never met somebody who is like absolutely crushing. They're like, yeah, I sleep until like 10 o'clock every day. Why? Because like they have more time. I don't know if you guys have seen that Netflix documentary with the Dream Team, the USA men's basketball team. I believe it was back in 2008. And Kobe Bryant, when they interviewed all the team members, right? And they were talking about Kobe specifically. And there was one, I might have talked about this previously. There was one night, right, where the whole USA men's basketball team actually went out to the club, and they were coming back at 4 o'clock in the morning after a night of clubbing. And they actually saw Kobe at the lobby entrance of the hotel on his way to the gym at 4 a.m. in his workout gear, while they were all coming in from partying, because they actually, I think they had a few days off. The game wasn't until a few days later. So the rest of the team was like, you know what, we're just going to chill. We're going to do our thing. We're going to enjoy ourselves. And Kobe was like, bro, what? He's like, nope, same thing. I'm going to bed. I'm waking up early. I'm going to do my shit because I have a very clear vision. I have a sense of urgency, and I have so much that I need to work on. And that's where I've gotten to. That's why most people don't understand what I'm doing, because it's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of thinking. And not everybody will understand that. And that's okay. And that is the friction that a lot of us are reluctant to accept sometimes, which ties into the next point. Number 2, cut off toxic people. Say it again. Cut off toxic people. This may be family. This may be close friends that you grew up with. And again, it's not to say any hard feelings at all, because it's not. You may still have love for them. But if you are crystal clear on where you want to go and what you're trying to achieve, then you will know every single day what is serving you and what isn't. And it becomes very fucking clear when you start to come at it from that lens, because you will recognize that that is not serving you and it's not something that you should be spending your time on. And then if you continue to do that anyway, in spite of recognizing that in your mind, then you are the person to blame. 100%. So we're talking about having a sense of urgency, right? And how this can make a massive difference in every aspect of your life, in your fitness, in your business, in your relationships. Because I know for a fact, this is how I operate. I get up early every single day. I don't hang out with toxic people ever. Okay. Last point, number 3, stop wasting time and move faster. Stop wasting time and move faster. A lot of us will lollygag. I'm bored. I don't really know what to do. I don't have the time. But we'll fucking binge watch Netflix and we'll go to movies and we'll hang out all weekend. Like I said, some of you guys won't agree with that. But the thing is, there's like necessary seasons of grinding and embracing that temporarily to propel yourself forward. How are you going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and movies for hours and hours and do all these things, go out on the weekends, stay out late, if you don't have what you want? And then we're going to complain about the shitty job, the shitty paycheck. I'm overweight. I'm this, and that. Fucking do something about it. And like I said, that might rub some people the wrong way, but this is the truth. We are responsible for our reality. And if you don't believe that, it's gut check time. Look in the mirror, right? The bonus tip that one of our coaches actually, Coach Jess, yesterday, or what's today, Wednesday? She was on Monday. Sorry. She went in the community and she talked about this. It's called saying no to people, places, and things that are not serving your goals. This is what it takes. If you want true change, say no to things, people, and places that are not serving you. Stop wasting time, move faster throughout your day. You haven't earned the Netflix shit yet. Now, I'm not saying you can't watch a movie every once in a while, but if you're complaining and you're frustrated and you're stuck, then it's a different conversation. Cut off toxic people, get up earlier, even if it's 30 minutes, and take that 30 minutes when you first get up to take action towards what you want. And if you don't know what you want, you need to step back and reverse engineer that and really figure out what that is. Well, maybe I want to escape my job. Well, how do I do that? I need a side hustle. What does that look like? What am I passionate about? How could I help other people? When do I have the time to do that? Okay, it's the weekend. If I want to leave my job, right, and I want to start a side hustle, then how am I going to sit there and go out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for hours at a time? But I worked all week. I'm too busy. You don't understand. You haven't earned it yet. I'm the owner and founder of a 6-figure company that is continuously growing, impacting the lives of a lot of clients over the last few, hundreds of people over the last few years. Why? Do you think that happens by accident? Do you think I'm going to get my pro card as a bodybuilder by accident? Do you think I'm living in this brand new house in Florida with my incredible partner that I literally could have made on a computer by accident? Absolutely not. Deliberate action followed for months, weeks, and years at a time. If you don't have what you want, look in the mirror. If this offends you, good, do something about it. That is it. That is all. I'm going to cut it short because I do have to bounce for another call. I wanted to yell at you guys because I believe in you. I just want to wrap this up with this. Thank you for listening to this rant, and it's amazing to get hopped up about it, but now it's time to do something about that. Recognize that everything I just said comes from a place of love, and recognize that the only way that you're going to change is by accepting the truth and doing more about that. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Have the best day of your entire life and do something about the shit. Take all the things that we talked about and execute. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace, love, and protein. Let's get it. Okay.